Insiders confirm Kyle Richards is officially leaving the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. No pause, no firing. She's exiting with her pride intact, and Bravo is in an absolute panic. After toxic rifts and an explosive blowout with her friend group in Italy, Kyle has chosen personal peace of mind over network ratings. She's completely done. Is this a permanent goodbye, or the ultimate reality TV power play? Let's unpack the truth. The diamond has officially shattered. In a turn of events that has sent seismic shockwaves through the entire reality television landscape, the undisputed queen and last remaining original cast member of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Kyle Richards, has officially made the monumental decision to leave the show. For 15 consecutive years, Kyle has been the solid foundation upon which an empire was built. From the very first limousine fight in 2010 to the deeply personal, gut-wrenching documentation of her marital struggles in recent seasons, she has given her entire life to the Bravo cameras. But today, the cameras have stopped rolling for Beverly Hills' most iconic star. Sources embedded deep within production have confirmed that Kyle is walking away from the franchise that made her a global household name. This is not a temporary hiatus. This is not a strategic pause orchestrated by the network. This is a definitive, proud, and calculated exit by a woman who has decided that her peace of mind is no longer up for negotiation. As news of her departure leaks across social media, an all-out war is brewing behind the closed doors of Bravo TV headquarters. Executives are in an absolute state of blind panic, desperately scrambling to put together historic financial packages to keep her from turning in her diamond for good. Yet, as the network begs, parallel and deeply explosive rumors are setting the industry ablaze. Whispers from Hollywood insiders suggest that while Kyle's primary motivation is a desperate need for personal tranquility away from the toxic environment of reality television, she has also struck a ferocious line in the sand regarding her worth. Rumors are swirling that Kyle has officially complained about being severely underpaid relative to the astronomical ratings and endless media cycles her private pain has generated for the network. The word behind the scenes is clear. She has proudly walked away, declaring she will never film another frame for Bravo until her salary is substantially increased to reflect her undeniable status as the absolute royalty of the network. When the news hit the top-tier executives at Bravo TV and its parent company NBC Universal, the reaction was nothing short of apocalyptic. To understand why Kyle Richards leaving The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills is an existential crisis for the network, one must look at the structural integrity of the show itself. For over a decade, cast members have come and gone. Heavyweights like Lisa Vanderpump, Bethany Frankel, and Nene Leakes have all, at various points, walked away from their respective franchises. While those departures caused temporary dips, the show survived because they had an anchor. In Beverly Hills, Kyle Richards has always been that anchor. She is the literal bridge between the old Hollywood glamour of the show's inception and the fast-paced, highly produced drama of modern reality television. Production insiders report that emergency meetings were called the moment Kyle's legal team formally communicated her decision to decline her contract for the upcoming season. The network knows that without Kyle, the entire structural integrity of RHOBH is compromised. She is the center of the social web. She has history with every single woman who walks onto the screen, and her family lineage connects directly to the architectural history of pop culture. When a network loses its center, the remaining cast members often scramble for dominance, resulting in a chaotic, disjointed show that viewers quickly abandon. In a frantic bid to stop the bleeding, network executives have allegedly put together a series of unprecedented counter-offers. Production sources whisper that Bravo has offered Kyle everything from an executive producer credit to a highly lucrative development deal for her own production company, all in a desperate attempt to keep her attached to the franchise. They have offered her reduced filming schedules, the power to veto certain casting choices, and promises of a shielded edit where her personal life would not be picked apart by hungry co-stars. But every single one of these desperate pleas has reportedly met a brick wall. Kyle Richards is not looking for a compromise. She is looking for an exit, and she is executing it with a level of dignity and pride that has caught the network entirely off guard. To truly understand why a woman would walk away from a platform that guarantees millions of dollars and global relevance, one must look closely at the heavy toll the last few years have taken on Kyle Richards. The reality TV machine is an insatiable beast. It demands that its stars feed at their deepest secrets, their ugliest family feuds, and their most vulnerable heartbreaks in exchange for fame. For 15 years, Kyle fed the beast willingly. She allowed the world to watch the painful, fractured dynamics with her sisters, Kim Richards and Kathy Hilton. She allowed the cameras to capture her anxieties, her fears, and her triumphs. But the human psyche can only withstand that level of microscopic scrutiny for so long before it begins to fracture. The turning point for Kyle came during a period of immense personal tragedy and transition. Giving up alcohol completely in an effort to maintain total mental clarity and physical strength. But as her clarity grew, so did her realization that the environment she worked in was inherently toxic. Living a sober life in front of a cast of women whose primary job description involves drinking and generating manufactured conflict became an exhausting uphill battle. Kyle found herself observing the chaos around her with an objective, clear-headed lens. And what she saw was an endless cycle of toxicity that no longer served her soul. Her current personal situation demands absolute tranquility. She is currently navigating an incredibly complex, painful, and highly publicized separation from her husband of nearly 30 years, Mauricio Umansky. While the two have maintained an incredibly civil, loving front for the sake of their 4 daughters, living in the gray area of a separation while being hunted by paparazzi and cross-examined by castmates on national television became an unsustainable nightmare. Kyle realized that in order to heal her family, protect her children, and find out who she is as an independent woman, she needed to step out of the arena. She chose peace of mind over a paycheck, recognizing that true wealth is found in tranquility, not in the ratings. The fractured sisterhood. Betrayals and broken alliances. The core engine of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills has always been the relationships between the women. But over the last several seasons, those relationships have degraded from genuine friendships into hyper-strategic alliances. For Kyle, the final straw wasn't just the pressure of the fans or the stress of her marriage. It was the profound sense of isolation she felt from the very women she considered her close friends. In the vacuum of reality television, loyalty is a rare commodity, and Kyle found herself on the receiving end of a barrage of questions, doubts, and subtle betrayals that broke her spirit. For years, Kyle was accused by viewers and castmates alike of being the producer of the group, the one who stirred the pot and forced others to bring their dirty laundry to light. But when the tables turned and Kyle became the one with a vulnerable, breaking personal life, she expected the women she had supported for years to shield her. Instead, she found herself walking into a den of lions. Long-time alliances fractured in an instant as co-stars smelled blood in the water. Every change in Kyle's life, her new workout routine, her sobriety, her tattoos, and her close bond with country singer Morgan Wade, was treated by the cast not with empathy, but as a mystery to be solved and a storyline to be exploited for screen time. The constant shifting of loyalty from women she had known for nearly a decade made the filming environment feel unsafe. Production sources revealed that Kyle grew deeply disillusioned by the realization that her pain was being used as currency by her castmates to secure their own spots on the show. Rather than continuing to stand in the center of a circle of women who were waiting for her to trip, Kyle made the proud decision to step away entirely. By leaving the show with her head held high, she effectively denies her detractors the satisfaction of tearing her down on camera. She is exiting on her own terms, leaving a vacuum that none of her former friends have the star power or the emotional weight to fill. The multi-million-dollar diamond. The truth about the salary demands. While the emotional and psychological reasons for Kyle's exit are undeniable, there is another highly explosive layer to this historic departure: the cold, hard cash. In the entertainment industry, pride is measured in numbers, and a parallel narrative has emerged from the production offices of Bravo that paints a picture of a fierce financial standoff. Rumors are reaching a fever pitch that Kyle Richards has officially complained to high-level executives about being severely underpaid throughout her tenure on the show, particularly in light of the massive financial windfall her personal trauma has brought to the network. As the longest-running consecutive housewife in the history of the entire global franchise, Kyle commands a massive salary, with reports estimating her earnings at well over $1 million per season. However, in the grand scheme of television economics, Kyle's camp reportedly looks at the numbers generated by her storylines and sees a profound imbalance. The recent seasons of RHOBH, which focused heavily on the breakdown of Kyle's marriage, pulled in astronomical streaming numbers on Peacock and dominated pop culture headlines for months on end. This massive media storm translated into tens of millions of dollars in advertising revenue, sponsorships, and subscriber retention for Bravo and NBC Universal. The rumor mill suggests that Kyle looked at those numbers and realized that the network was profiting wildly off her real-world suffering while paying her a fraction of the value she was generating. Insiders claim that Kyle drew an absolute unyielding line in the sand during contract negotiations, informing Bravo that she would not return to film a single frame of the show until her salary was increased to a number that truly reflected her value as the absolute anchor of the network. By walking away proudly, Kyle is executing a textbook power move. She is showing the network that she cannot be bought for cheap, and that if they want her to expose her soul to the world, they will have to pay a historic price for the privilege. There is a distinct difference between being fired from a reality show, being put on a humiliating pause, and walking away voluntarily with your pride fully intact. Throughout the history of the Real Housewives, very few women have had the luxury or the courage to do the latter. Most cling to their glowing diamonds until the network forces them out, leading to bitter public feuds and desperate attempts to stay relevant. Kyle Richards is choosing a completely different path, one defined by ultimate power and self-respect. By officially choosing to leave, Kyle is preserving her legacy as the definitive face of Beverly Hills. She is exiting at a time when she is still the undisputed main character of the show, ensuring that her departure leaves a massive unfillable void. Her exit is an act of defiance against a system that often chews up middle-aged women and spits them out when their storylines run dry. Kyle is proving to the world, to her castmates, and to network executives that she does not need the show. The show needs her. She enters this new chapter of her life with a massive individual net worth, a successful production company, multiple acting gigs lined up, and the deep unconditional love of her 4 daughters. She is trading the manufactured glittering golden cage of Bravo for actual real-world freedom. As the dust settles on this groundbreaking announcement, the future of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills hangs precariously in the balance. Can a show built around the lifestyle and relationships of Kyle Richards survive without her presence? Will the remaining women crumble under the pressure of having to carry the show without their anchor? Only time will tell. But for Kyle Richards, the decision is made, the boundary is set, and she has walked away into the sunset, leaving behind an empire she built with her own hands, carrying nothing but her pride, her peace of mind, and her dignity. Kyle Richards' historical payroll trajectory. According to verified production audits and historical trade reports, Kyle Richards' financial journey with Bravo is a testament to her business acumen. In Season 1, Richards was reportedly paid a base salary of approximately $134,000, a figure that was significantly higher than her less-known castmates, with the exception of Camille Grammer, signaling that Bravo recognized her star power from day one. As the show's ratings exploded, Kyle's legal team consistently negotiated massive escalators. By Season 5, her per-season compensation had crossed the $500,000 threshold, putting her on par with industry heavyweights like Lisa Vanderpump. When Vanderpump exited in season 9, Carl became the undisputed financial anchor of the franchise. Production insiders estimate that by season 12, Carl's contract had escalated into a highly lucrative structure, guaranteeing her over $1 million per season, supplemented by bonuses for promotional appearances, reunion specials, and international streaming residuals on Peacock. The 2026 standoff, the matriarch ultimatum. The current rumors swirling around Kyle's contract negotiations for the upcoming seasons indicate a complete breakdown in the traditional tiered pay model. Sources report that Kyle's team has presented Bravo with an ultimatum that has sent shockwaves through NBC Universal's unscripted television division. The core of the dispute centers on the concept of trauma compensation. Kyle's representatives have argued that the traditional salary metrics are fundamentally flawed when applied to her current situation. For 15 years, Kyle has provided the show with top-tier ratings by exposing her most painful real-life experiences, including her recent separation from Mauricio and her intense family feuds. Her team believes that if the network expects her to continue acting as the emotional anchor of a global franchise while enduring relentless public scrutiny, her compensation must be doubled, rumored to be a demand of over $2 million per season, along with executive producer credits and a cut of streaming ad revenue. Bravo find themselves trapped in a corporate paradox. On one hand, they know that a Beverly Hills season without Kyle Richards carries immense financial risk. Advertisers pay premium rates based on her presence, and her departure could lead to a massive drop in live viewership and streaming numbers. On the other hand, caving to her demands would completely obliterate their cast payroll budget. It would trigger MFN clauses across multiple franchises, empowering OGs like Teresa Judas or Tamra Judge to demand matching multi-million-dollar contracts. Kyle's financial independence makes her an incredibly dangerous negotiator. Unlike many reality stars who rely on their network paychecks to sustain their lifestyles, Kyle's personal net worth, even post-separation, is massive, bolstered by her real estate investments, acting roles, and production ventures. She doesn't need Bravo's money. This reality has completely shifted the balance of power in the boardroom. Kyle has drawn her line in the sand. Pay her what she is worth to the empire, or watch her walk away into a life of well-deserved peace. The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Without Kyle Richards, the impending departure of Kyle Richards leaves an immediate gaping void in Bravo's premier franchise. For 15 years, the series has been structured around her home, her family, and her social circle. To remove Kyle from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills is to fundamentally alter the DNA of the show. The power vacuum and cast restructuring. In the wake of her exit, the remaining cast members will find themselves in a high-stakes battle for narrative dominance. For years, Kyle served as the buffer between the various factions within the ensemble. She was the one who hosted the premiere events, brought the women together after a major fight, and directed the conversation during group trips. Without her stabilizing presence, the cast dynamics are likely to become incredibly volatile. Erika Jayne and Sutton Stracke, two of the franchise's most polarizing and powerful figures, will find themselves forced to step into the vacuum. Erika, who has spent recent seasons rebuilding her image following her own intense legal and personal struggles, possesses the star power to lead, but lacks Kyle's historical warmth. Sutton, known for her quirky Southern charm and fierce independence, has become a massive fan favorite. But her relationships with the rest of the cast are often fragile. Meanwhile, Dorrit Kemsley, who is navigating her own highly publicized divorce, will lose her primary narrative foil. The shifting alliances will force production to completely restructure how stories are told in Beverly Hills, shifting away from a family-anchored dynamic toward a highly competitive ensemble model. The legacy of a reality TV pioneer. Ultimately, the story of Kyle Richards' departure is the story of a pioneer who conquered a genre and knew exactly when to leave the battlefield. She did not just survive reality television, she defined it. She showed a generation of women how to build a global brand out of their personal lives, how to navigate corporate networks with absolute precision, and how to maintain their dignity even when the entire world is watching their worst moments. Her legacy is secure. Whether she returns for a historic, high-paying cameo, or closes the Bravo chapter forever, Kyle Richards has earned her peace. She leaves behind an empire of her own making, walking out of the mansion and into the Hollywood sunset with her head held high, her pride intact, and her place in television history permanently guaranteed.